name. There to my heart was the blood applied. I'm singing glory to his name. On Jordan Stormy Banks, page 510. On Jordan Stormy Banks. On Jordan's stormy banks I stand and cast a wishful eye to Canaan's fair and happy land, where my possessions lie. We will rest in the fair and happy land, just across on the evergreen shore. Sing the song of Moses and the Lamb by and dwell with Jesus evermore. Oh, those wide extended plains shines one eternal day. There God the sun forever reigns and scatters night away. We will rest in the fair and happy land, by and by, just across on the evergreen shore. Sing the song of Moses and the Lamb by and by, and dwell with Jesus evermore. When shall I reach that happy place and be forever blessed? When shall I see my Father's face and in his bosom rest? We will rest in the fair and happy land, by and by, just across on the evergreen shore. Sing the song of Moses and the Lamb, by and by, dwell with Jesus evermore, filled with delight, raptured soul, here no longer stay. Though Jordan's waves around me, oh, fearless I launch away. We will rest in the fair and happy land, by and by, just across on the evergreen shore. Sing the song of Moses and the Lamb, by and by, dwell with Jesus evermore. We'll have one more song before we have our workshop leader for this evening. Page 153, Footprints of Jesus. Page 153, Footprints of Jesus. Sweetly, Lord, have we heard thee calling, come follow me. And we see where thy footprints fall, lead us to thee. Footprints of Jesus that makes the pathway glow. We will follow the steps of Jesus wherever they go. Though they lead o'er the colder mountain sea, Genesi, all along by Solomon's fountain, helping the weak. Footprints of Jesus that makes the pathway glow. We will follow the steps of Jesus wherever they go. If they lead through the temple only, preaching the word, or in homes of the poor and lowly, serving the Lord. Footprints of Jesus that makes the pathway glow. We will follow the steps of Jesus where they go. By and by through the shining portal turning our feet, we shall walk with the glad immortals and golden street. Footprints of Jesus that makes the pathway glow. We will follow the steps of Jesus where they go. Footprints of Jesus that makes the pathway glow. We will follow the steps Jesus where they go. Again, pleasant evening to those joining us on Facebook and YouTube Live. We are thankful that we are here to hear another message from Brother Murchison, who have come all the way from Trinidad to speak to us on the topic. This evening, we'll be discussing courting phase. Prerequisites of choosing a lifetime partner. I almost bite my tongue saying that title. But we are here nonetheless. Take out your phones for notes. Take out your notepads for notes. Get your notes down. Get your questions in so that we will have interactive discussion this evening. The next voice you will hear is Brother Murchison Alexis.
Thank you very much, brother. You all hearing me? Yes. Good. So, welcome. It's good to be here again. Tonight is the final night as we put the icing on the cake. Right? And so I trust you would really listen, because the aim is at the end that we will not only be hearers but doers also. And so we can get the benefit. And the way Jesus make the spiritual kingdom, the church, it's a multiplier effect, whereby when you convert one person, when two of you convert someone, that is now four. And when four of you all convert somebody, now 8. So that's how the church really should be. So you can make a whole difference in the island by the way you live out your life. And so we want to get the principles of God's word as we strive. If you look at the screen, you see where it marked there. See a male on my left, your right. Well, depending on how you're sitting. And you saw the female on your next side. In the middle, it says, joint partners for what? If one is contemplating getting married, they have to keep that in mind. Marriage is a monogamous relationship between a male and a female. I have to spell it out. And it is for life. The bond is breaking two how? By death or by unfaithfulness. There's no other how. So people will come to me and ask, well, so and so happened and I can't give you no permission to go no way. So you want me to be bigger than God? Find a recipe for you to get out when the consideration of getting out is before, not after. When you're getting it for life. Now, as we talk about during the period, I won't spend much time on it. When we talk about a covenant, a vow, I can give you about 8 words that mean that. Yeah, you have to know. A contract. All does the same thing. Right? So when you marry and you make a vow, you have made a contract with your partner, and what is interested in all the words you would use is the witness. You see, from Deuteronomy, God says that in the presence of 2 or 3 witnesses, Deuteronomy 19, a matter is confirmed. Today I go before the court, it is the same. Right? Now, if I have a problem with Lindsay, and I take him to court, and he says, I'm not speaking the truth, I say I'm speaking the truth, who should the magistrate listen to? Nobody. My word not better than his, and his word not better than mine. So that's why you need witnesses. And that is where even in this fellowship in people, what God says. If your brother offends you, go to him. Keep the problem small. And if he doesn't listen to you, he said, take 2 or 3. And if because of grace, we are not applying the law. Because of grace, if he doesn't listen to 2 or 3, he said, tell it to the whole church. Telling it to the whole church is not to this fellowship. Don't get it wrong at all. If your aim is somebody getting in trouble to get rid of them, just know you and them ain't going to heaven. Right? So the idea, Jesus said he came and he's not willing that what? Any should perish. Any includes it, don't exclude. It includes your enemy too. So when he wouldn't listen to 2 or 3, you put it to the church wire. There must be somebody among us who could have influence on him. Right? So when worship done and Tanti go and say, come now Lindsay, I hear him so and say, oh God, Tanti, she said no, he said, all right, I done, and he go and repent. Must have somebody. But if after that he will not listen, then I say to this fellowship. You see what I'm talking about? So one has to prepare before and follow procedure. So if you didn't understand why you're gaining, it's not so easy to come out. Right? So as we pick it up, I want to engage you all tonight like all the other nights. So tonight, I won't only take long. If I find only taking long and starting any, mini, miny, more who would fall on, you have to answer. So give me volunteers quick, right? So we're talking about, I want to pass all these here because I'll add some things, right? This is where I want to start, right? Consideration for choosing what? So this is not a house you buy. And when you're fed up, you sell it and buy the next one. This is not a fridge. And then you get a warranty and 3 months later they change it. You have to understand that. Lifetime. That is what is the issue when you're picking it up, right? So there's a question I just put there. Should I ask a question? I just on the side. I don't think we can answer that tonight. But we will see how far we can reach with that too, right? Should a Christian marry outside of the faith? I can give you the short answer, no. That's the short answer. Justification, if we get time, we'll talk about that. Right, so we move in. I am asking you all, what will you call a successful intimate relationship? You didn't see what I had there because I put it up too fast. I hope I didn't get to see it. So what do you call a successful intimate relationship? Intimate is not a platonic relationship. We're not talking about you go to work and you make friends, right? You have relationship with friends, neighbors, even family and so on. Intimate talking one-on-one. This is the person you're picking as a partner. So if you do that, what would you consider a successful one? Right, one that have open communication no matter the issue. Any other thoughts?
Two parties invested and longevity.
All right, so if we work with that, one where the couple goes from dating to a harmonious marriage that could, prove the test of a lifetime. That is what's successful. Right? Now, when I'm teaching the young people alone, I give them the whole phase. We're not time for that tonight. Because it will start with dating. I'll explain to them what dating. For me, as a counselor, dating and courting is not the same thing. So you go from dating to courting to engagement and then marriage. Right? And each stage something else happens. So we ain't going through all that tonight. Right? So we are assuming tonight that you are interested in getting married, right? And we're talking about preparedness, getting ready. The preparedness will start with parents. Let me tell you something. Children do not learn half of what you tell them. They learn everything you do. Fool not yourself. Right? So they are watching, and because most parents in the Caribbean, our culture, that's why we talk about first world country and third world country. Most parents in the Caribbean don't have a proper relationship with the children. Right? So that's why there is no plenty thing about them. Things is happening to me. Right? I'm confused. So you have a daughter, she's 11 years. And this boy, when he come in and says, he loves she and she nice and all kind of thing. And she just can't take him on. And she come up, she said, Mommy, I want to talk to you. Oh God, girl are busy, what? She said, okay, nothing. The attitude ain't right. Like you, when I tell you, you go boof me. When I need help. So I never tell you nothing. And here I go and do now, I go and tell my friend who is 12 years. It always have some 12 and 11 years professional who's going to now mash up your life and tell you all kind of rubbish, and you will go and do it. And then when that stage comes, use big parents with big stick, and you shame and all kind of thing when the thing turn upside down. The children must feel comfortable telling you anything. I train my children like that. Right? So when my daughter was 8, she come and say, Daddy, this boy in school, he real stupid. I said, I mean, he's stupid. She said, you tell me he like me. I said, the boy must just want to be a friend, work with you. Try and work with him and so on and thing because, you all are schoolmates and thing. It's no big thing. And I try to guide her through that. So she feels free to come and tell me anything. If they're not free to tell you anything when they're that age, you feel when they reach 17, 18, they come in and tell you anything? Huh? So here what has happened to most parents. Your daughter is 21. And here she come and tell you, Mom, I have to talk to you, She can't hold it no more. So what happened? She said, well, I'm planning to get married. Married to who? People is married just so? No. She been seeing a guy for 6 years and you don't know. And why you don't know, I can't tell you the way you'll behave. But now I decided to go and get married. I'm overage now. So if you get on too much, I said, that's your business and I gone. So you wouldn't be part of the wedding. Right? Right? So you create that. Because I am not saying every time a child come to you, they will come to tell you things you'll be comfortable with. But they're born with a blank mind. And they have to live out their life. So you have to help them. And if you're not open, there are other people open to misguide them. So they have to feel free to come to talk to you about anything. You have to get them that. Right? Find ways to correct them in love. Right? So, preparedness, getting ready, starts with all the training you will be giving them as they grow. From 0 right up to adult. When they reach 18, there's an adult. So from there, they should be able to make very good, sound decision on their own. Because what happens is, you might be pleased, but she's 18, and she reach home and use her mommy, and she reach home and say, Mom, oh gosh, you know, I said I tell you this long time ago, but I see our apartment up the road I like, so I'm moving out tomorrow. What you going to tell you? But you're ready for that? If I ain't ready, it's your fault. Who was to get me ready? Who was to get me ready? And what my age now? 18. So if I go in my own apartment, you're going to call the police and tell them I leave home? Eh? And you can't sleep tonight because you're wondering what's going on? That is your problem. You had 0 to 18 to prepare me for that moment. And when it reaches, I'm not ready. And you surprised I ain't ready? So what you was doing from 0 to 18? Feel like I dolly to chop in the and catch. Mami na check chunkulung, kind of dotisness. So we have gone way out, and as I say, we sow the wind, and now we're reaping the whirlwind. So I'm saying you have to help to get them ready. So let's examine getting ready. What that look like to you? Huh? Storm brewing right outside Florida today. That's what it looked like. And if you, well, that's too small for you to read, but that is saying the ODPM is talking to people and telling them all what had to happen in getting ready and all kind of thing, and the path the storm will take and all of that, right? That's what's going on there. What do? Right. So let's talk, keep that in mind, and let's talk about relationship that leads to marriage. What that looking like? Same thing. But what? A storm coming. It coming. Ready or not? Here I come. Only didn't play that one a little small. I pelt the cup. And when you run for it and you look back, you see nobody. And you ready or not? Here I come. Who I catch first is you. You have to take it over. Ready or not, the storm coming. Right? So, now you need to be ready to face not just that storm, but the storm of life. When you get married, the storm of life will come against your marriage. There is no if, there is no but, and there is no maybe. It's going to happen. Good? So, what's that house there? It look nice, right? Nice house. But what's something? Let's talk about the building stages. What that picture look like? Foundation. See that nice house? If that foundation ain't good, that whole nice house going to fall down. And you want to build a marriage with no foundation and expect it to last. Eh? Know that nice house. Guess what? You see that foundation there? Just putting on that day could be about $200,000. And then probably wall and window and roof ending, small thing. But that is what will make that house stand up. You see that little thing you see in there? If you know much steel inside of that when earthquake come, you'll feel the little tremor, but the house ain't going away. Huh? So, you have to consider the foundation you're going to put on if you're going to get married. So I am saying then, similarly, a great marriage relationship, that picture look nice, happy couple, pretty. A great marriage relationship must also begin with a great foundation. Any objection to that? Good. So, Proverbs 11 and verse 14. Hear what it says. Where there is no guidance, people fall. But in an abundance of counsel, there is safety. Okay? Let's move further. Tell me the components of our wedding, the wedding day. Give me the components of things you had to put together to reach our wedding day. Let me hear you. Come now, huh? You had to get the? I hear what you say. Venue, right? So a venue, if you're having a... Now, I want to look at a small wedding, a medium wedding, and a large wedding, and the cost. So you have to get a venue. So if it's a small wedding that we use in Trinidad and Tobago, we could talk about community center. They might charge you according to how big it is. They might charge you $500 to $2,000, you know, right? So we get the venue. Let's go again. The dress and the ring. Now, I don't want to get a price with the dress because they don't want to play all the modest, but I know them dress, the scores, a house. So the dress, the ring, cake, caterer, witnesses, DJ, decorator, and modern day, 3-door car. I did a wedding up at San Fernando Hill. You also know San Fernando Hill? And we are whole half an hour late. What then happened? The car can't come up the hill. The car so big it can't come up the hill. So the bride had to drop out down the hill and they had to bring her up. Because the car so big, a 3-door car. Right? You had to get car. Right? Let me put up a little thing there for you all. Right. So, see if we could match you all. Dress, suit, rings, cake, decorations, catering, food and drink, right? Car, you gotta get the venue. We are done DJ, we are done ball. Honeymoon, we didn't talk about that. So me put no price for that. Only put price. It depends on what you want to do, what you can afford. Honeymoon, right? All those things you need. So let me talk about the budget to have all of that. Right? Now, I'll give you a whole budget there for all of that. And, you know, according to the amount of people, you ain't seen it because, I mean, it could have been bigger, if a thing, right? But that budget there is $48,000. That's a small one. Yeah, cheap, right. So that was, remember I say small, medium, and large. And then you have this one, which is a medium one, that is $72,000. Right? And then you have the large one, $108,000. Right? That is the cost of a wedding. Huh? No, that is US. But if you do so we ain't using the US price because you got to multiply it by 6 or 7. But if you do the comparative with Trinidad, it is much less. Because things are expensive. Right. So we said, I'll give you the 3 prices, 8,000, 48,000, 108,000, right? Question. So we established earlier that there is safety in good counsel, not so? Good. Question. Here the question. How much of that estimated budget we just talked about there was allocated towards good counseling to assist the marriage to be successful? None. Well, I like to say it nice. I don't say it nice. A big, fat 0. And you're wondering why marriages cannot last. Going into an important thing like that, that is a one-time choice. It's a lifetime choice. But you frivolously did not get counsel. Yes. Question.
Then a comment?
Yes, okay.
Well, you know, Michael is a counselor. And couples are not interested in counseling.
No, that's not the culture.
That's one. And 2, they feel they must not pay for counseling.
Yes, right?
If they're doing it, it must be free.
Yes.
And they're not interested.
Or if it's not free, it must be very cheap.
That's right.
So don't count on me. Don't come by me. Don't come.
And we're talking about also members of the church.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. Let me correct you. You're mostly talking about members of the church. Right? So it don't work. When people come to me, I have a sheet called what un meet pass here? It has 34 subject areas, which are things that affect your marriage, that if you can't handle it, it usually end up in divorce. In different areas, different things are the number one reason why people separate. What do you think is the number one reason why people separate today? No. Financial is about 4 on the list. Huh? No. That might be about number 9 on the list. Well, that same, all them things always saying they 7, 8, quite down so. Huh? No. That is a problem too. I only want the number 1. No. Sex is like about number 3 on the list. Children? No. Children are even on the list. No, we said that already. No. Communication was about number 5 on the list. No. The number 1 reason people are divorcing today is quality time. That's the number 1 reason. Because, let me be real. If I could have helped tonight and I tell all you get somebody in the neighbor to mind all them children and keep them home. So we could talk free. Because all these adults. Right? The number 1 reason is quality time. Because look what happened. The world created a system to only make profit. Capitalism. Greed. Avariciousness. And we suck into it. So here what's happening. You and your husband, you have to get 4 o'clock in the morning. Because you have to prepare meals to them children to go to school and you have to drop them off. And then you have to work. Finish work 4 o'clock. And then everywhere in the world, it have more cars than people in every country. So you're in a traffic jam, 2 hours going, 2 hours coming. So by the time you pick them up 6 o'clock and you reach home, they have to eat again, you have to do homework. And by the time you and your husband reach in bed, when them children sleeping, what time that is? Like 10 o'clock, right? So here where you all like now. You know where you all are? All you need the advice that Jethro give Moses. Because you all are worn out and have no time for each other. And then now, the day you may be off, she working. You come home early and rest and complaining about her why you can't get nothing. And then she said, all right, good. She take a day off Friday. You working. She come home now to complain. Huh? And then you start to blame each other for it. But the truth is, none of you all are making time because you're busy making money. It's just like parents who like children to marry and tell them come home by them to live. They will save money. Of course they save money, but they lose the marriage. Because most in-laws just turn out to be outlaws. That's what it is. So we have the system. We have to change. If we don't want to change, we will have to live with the consequences. You have to make up your mind. It's up to you. Where you want to go. So, you cannot get married without counsel. So when you're putting aside money for all them things we talk about, you have to put aside money for counseling. Counseling is not free. Counselors do counseling as they live in. I leave my job, and that's what I do. Just like Brother Mike, I have my own company. People come to get married when you tell them, and I have a very reasonable price. And here why? Well, only if you're a member of the church. I like Robin Hood. I just take from the rich, I get to the poor. If you're poor, I could almost give it for free. That's my choice. But if you're not a member of the church, you pay all or don't come back. If you want counseling, you pay the full price. And so when members come who really can't make the pay, I say, all right, no problem, pay me half, take a buy or whatever. Because you who ain't want to go God's way, the council ain't going to do nothing for you. I know that. Because you're not going to obey it. I know that. But you want it, you'll get it. So what I'm saying is, you cannot plan to get married and don't want to get counsel. So all them things, you see all them subjects all you call, all that on the list. it do play a part and contribute to your marriage going down the drain. And you don't need to know those things when you are married. You need to know it before. So when you know, all the love he say, I love you, you know. But get what she don't know? He's very stingy. So you feel marriage will now make him generous. She have to live with stinginess for all her life. So we have to discuss finance and how it is managed in the relationship. Alright? And prepare yourself to handle finance. It's your crash. So you have a lot of subjects area. So counseling has to be part of your preparation. And I'm saying the undermention, which I'm going to show you now, is just a few of the subjects you should consider before you get into an intimate relationship. So let me give you a few that is on the list. Come on. Anger management. A young couple just divorced in Trinidad. I remember the church, both of them, after 2 years because of anger management. She come from a family, she gets so angry. She mashes up everything. Yes. Marriage gone. Anger management. You must talk about courting. What happened during the courting period? The courting period is a period when it call for honesty. Right? So, you see me, like me? Fine, let me tell you about me. You feel you like me, let me tell you about me. I was in jail 5 times. Right? So, you like me again? Well, you see what I mean? You see what I mean? So, I'm glad I tell you that. You know why I'm glad I tell you that? I now discover you was never suited for me. Because the question you should be asking me, if God make provision for repentance and change, the person who used to thief, am I still that person? Well, you see, I need to find out. So the question is, I have been transformed. Let me tell you what happened. When the Apostle Paul, remember, what was his name before he was Apostle Paul? Saul. When he walked in the church in Jerusalem, what happened? Scared, everybody run. Everybody kept around and say, he setting me up. He just kill Christian. He come in here and play smart and play he's this Christian. And he must be looking for a way to sell. We have to lock we up. Not me, I gone. Barnabas had to stand up and say, brethren, hold up. This is not Saul. So who is he? This is the Apostle Paul. He has been changed, transformed. Have you ever heard the name Colin Rosales? You know what I mean? He was one of the worst criminals in Trinidad. He was given a lifetime sentence in jail. He was so bad that they say prisoners that's getting to scrape with one another, he used to get no scrape. Nobody needs to go around here. The church, we went into prison and taught him the gospel. One day, the prison commissioner heard that a fella beat him. You know what he did? He write the president and gave him a pardon for him. He said he take that church thing serious. Because nobody can beat him. He became one of the ambassadors for the church in prison. Still is. The president, Clinton, sent for him to talk to prisoners in the United States in them bad prison in Nevada and all about. And he married a young lady. I saw his daughter in the grocery day before yesterday. His wife died over some time. Right? So what I'm saying is, God tell us don't judge. People could change. And you would have missed out because you have a transformed person. You see what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying. We need to talk in the courting period is the time to be honest. Where I tell you everything about me. If you can't deal with it, and you go and not vex with you because you save me to some problem. You're not worried of me. Right? So you ain't going to hear. So now here's the problem with that. If I didn't tell you that, and when you walk down the road now, Lindsay called and said, how you married the girl? You know, he used to thief on kind of thing. When you come and ask me, I didn't want you to find out that. But I came clean because I have no intention of going back down that road. You understand? So, people deserve chance. But let me go on with the list. What is God's will for women? You getting married, but you know what God make you for. Growing emotionally healthy children. You have men who don't know how to treat women. Because what did the parents teach them and what did they see from the parents? Headship. He's a man, but does he know how to rule? And when God talk about headship, what God meant? But you married him? Huh? We're talking about overcoming bitterness. That's a story by itself. Right? Pornography. Pornography has mashed up plenty people's life before they get married because they don't understand the effect it have on you when you're going into marriage. So people who practice that, the marriage done before it starts. You need healing. Right? Why are sticking? Right. Selection of a lifetime partner. That's what we're talking about tonight. I just one subject on the list. We talk about our one tonight. You need to know that. I don't know, like I feel my battery, like I need a battery, but it's coming and going. Right. You need to know the truth about rearing children. You need to know the truth about rearing children. You need to know what does your marriage vow mean. What is the vow for the man and what does the vow mean for the woman? Because you take the vow. Most people take the vow and they have no intention of living it. And they'll face God. Yeah? I so and so take thee to be my lawful wife or husband. Right? For better, for worse, for richer, for poor. In health and in sickness, till death do us part. Why are you taking the people vow? That's what the vow say. Huh? And when problem come and tell him but problem, you said that I'm going down with you no matter what happened. So if you have to know what the vow means. What about the subject of marriage, divorce, and remarriage? Maybe if you realize you can't come out to myself, let me get in at all. That's up to you. Right? Compatibility. People feel they're going to go in and they're looking for a compatible person. I knew a young lady from small. She grew in my classes. And when she reached about 18, 19, she had a boyfriend, a member of the church. He too boring. So, as she leave him, you have them rest of ladies. All you know about cricket, right? You have first slip, second slip, third slip. As she leaves him, go tip do so whap, gets it. Gone. She keep going. But guess what? The biological clock ticking. She go from 1, 2, 3, 4, and as she leave all, members of the church take all of them. When she hit 30s, what do you think happening now? I want a child. I had to get married. Now, you ever make juice with brown sugar? Right, so you make juice with brown sugar and it tastes real good. So you're drinking it, but when you're drinking it now, you realize the dregs. So you can't drink that. But the thing tastes so good, here we say, you see the light dregs are drinking that. But when the dregs start to get real heavy, you say, no, I can't drink that, I'm going to interfere in my system. So you throw away that. All the good juice, she let pass. And now she into the heavy dregs because the clock ticking, you have to pull from the dregs now to marry. How long it lasts? It lasts long. Yeah? So you have to talk about compatibility, what it really means, and how you deal with it. What about leadership? Right? What about listening skills? When you went to school, they taught you to write? They did. They taught you how to read. Oh yes. Who taught you how to listen? Nobody. So you're passing in the neighborhood here where you hear. You hear, oh God, them children harden. They don't listen. Go down the road a little further. My wife has never listened to me. Go down a little further. My husband don't listen at all. Why? Because you don't know how to do it. It has to be taught. Listening is both a skill and an art. And it has to be taught. And it is so terrible in Trinidad. There's only one place in Trinidad people that listen. Where is that? Huh? In the court. And you know why? Because if you talk out of court, that is contempt of court, and it starts with an immediate 8 days jail. So I in court, and I sit down there and you giving evidence, and you watching me in my eye and lying, I'm crying too. I tell them blue, pink, green, and I can't say a word. So I'm practicing listening skill because I don't have a choice. When we listen, we like to lie plenty. How we just lie? Your emotions get the better here, and we can't go nowhere. So here what you do, you say, I don't want to stop you, but you're going to stop me. So you lied. You didn't want to stop me. You wanted to stop me, you stopped me. Because you can't listen. So no one of the partner does ever get a real chance to know what's going on in the next one, because none of them will listen. And after a period of time, they get frustrated, and both of them say, done, it's making no sense. When the truth is, they never reach the point of even understanding what's going on in each other. Huh? Listening skills is something has to be taught. Right? Fatherhood. Communication in relationship. Not just communication, communication in relationship. That's a whole different thing. Right? Substance abuse. What if you married somebody and didn't know there was a drug addict, and then you find out? How do you manage that? So you had to talk about that before. Domestic violence. If a person came from a family where they have been so nurtured, right? So here what is happening. You brighter than me. So every time you talk, I loosen, I cough in your mouth, and you hush. And what we two children watching, hear what he learning. Oh, he didn't realize he learned it to know. He now married, and she brighter than him. And when she start, and he can't get it, what you do? He remember when daddy cough you in your mouth, you did hush, so you gain it now. So then he bring that into the relationship and use the benefactor. All these is things you have to know before you get married. You are pretending you ain't married now, and if I didn't know this and if I didn't know that, you didn't want to know. And Sister Stuart already made the thing for you. Chinese say good thing, no chip. Thank you. You don't want counseling. All you want is to satisfy the biological clock and the hormones. Go ahead, you'll pay for it. Right? Budgeting and financial management. That is number how much there? About 22? Yeah. Those are just some on the list. And you want to get into marriage, and then wonder, sit down and wonder what's going on in your marriage and see if things ain't ringing bell. So no, the selection of a lifetime spouse is one of the most important decisions one could make in your lifetime. Therefore, you should not do so frivolously. First person come around and grin the teeth, you ready to go? No, don't work so. Don't make them decisions so frivolous at all. So, let me talk then about the selection of a prospective husband and wife. I say prospective because I could dumb them. Good. It usually begins, as I say, with dating. And then, you know, I explain here what is dating. I don't want to go into depth in it. But when we talk about dating, dating goes between the age of 13 to about 17. I'll tell you why. Dating is where the male get to understand what happens with female. And the female get to know what's happening with male. It is done under supervision. You know, so like between that age, you have a sports club or in this, you have a youth group. So when they're going out, they go out with, and they would have chaperones, right? And therefore, so they're going out. So this is not no intimate relationship. You need to know that. So, okay, between 13 and 17, I had no girlfriend. And me, I want nobody tell me about no girl. If you like me, it's war. Because I was telling them, why I didn't like girls at all. Because me and the boys was very mischievous. We go and thief people fowl and thing. And go in the bush and cook. And when we do so, and we go on and we cook and we have an boy. She go on and tell the rest and they come and peep. Thank along. We go in and tell. Links later. You can't come out for weeks. So for the time the boys come together, we see them girls coming. We say, fellas, let me go so. Right? I stay away from girls. I have no problem about no girlfriend and getting pregnant. Me, huh? You see it going, the battery going. It coming on and off. Huh? Okay, I don't want to have a feedback though. Right. You see? Well, maybe I use the mic as the what it you're seeing for yourself, right? Yes. Oops. Well, anything could go wrong, this go wrong. Right. So what we're saying is that's the period for the dating. And I'm saying, so during that period is where you begin to learn that, you know, what boys is like and what girls is like under that control environment, right? And everywhere need to have that. Because if you don't create that in the church, how then could you talk to the young people as they grow older and tell them marry in the church? You see what's going on? They know nobody. So you have to encourage to have those, and adults have to volunteer time. We used to have night over, but not without supervision. So they could sit down, talk, do what? You're even going outside to say, go and pee inside. We ain't trusting you at all. But you're getting that opportunity you created for them. Right? And then we continue by looking at courting. So what is courting? Courtings occur when a man seeks to gain the attention and favor of a woman with the ultimate intent of engagement which follow marriage after. So that period of courting means, it's a no parenting again. I'm a young adult and I single you out from all that group now and say, I like you. So now we're thinking about getting married. If you don't train young people like that, what happens is that they're thinking about doing what married people do, but they won't get married. You see? So you have to have a process, and that's how it was. Let me tell you how strong courting is. In the Bible tells us that Joseph was espoused to Mary. When Joseph found out that Mary was pregnant, the scripture tells us he sought to put her away privately. How do you put away somebody you wasn't married to? That is how strong courting is considered in the Jewish faith. That when you single out somebody, everybody else say, oh God, she real nice in her, but not me, I hear she engaged so and so. So I ain't wasting no time. Huh? That's how strong that period is. So this is where we building and understanding all them topics. We're doing that together. So when we enter the marriage, we enter in it with knowledge so we can make informed choices. And let me tell you something. In a marriage, things will go wrong all the time. You'll have more bad time than good time. You wait for somebody to fool you. Me ain't here for that. Because you know why? We are fallen creatures. We fall from grace. And we're living in a sinful world. So things just keep going bad. But guess what happened? Wisdom dictates that the good times, you make it so sweet that when the bad time comes, we're going to live through that because I want some more of that sweet time. And we ain't going to a place, we will work out all them problems together to reach back to that position. But this planet Earth, trouble is come and meet you. You have a child 17 years old, you just tell them go and thief? You hear? Who is that? The police. The police? But I ain't do nothing to my husband here. Yeah, your son or your daughter go and play the food. So you have to deal with the stress. It will come. But you have to have a plan how you work out those things when it happens. And this is where counseling comes in. Not after, not just during, before. Preparation. So, the marriage vow is something we have to talk about, right? And what is a marriage? A marriage is a monogamous union between a man and a woman authorized by civil law that is harmonious with God's word and is sanctified in a sodomized arrangement in which they enter into a covenant relationship with God. That is our marriage. When you reach there, it's a no turning back. Now, when I marry people, there's nobody in here I married, right? Good. So let me tell you, I marry people what I do. I always give you a last opportunity to say no. So when the bride arrives there, the husband is usually halfway down, not up here. The father, in keeping with tradition, and not really part of the marriage, ain't bound to have it, but it's a tradition, right? The father gives the bride to the husband to be, and he brings her forward. So when they reach there, I ask both of them, do you want to take this man to become your husband? If yes, say I will. Do you want to take this woman to be a wife? If yes, say I will. Because if you ain't say I will, we don't reach no I do. You could finish right there. We will go and eat all the cake, all the roti, drink out the bar, play the music. Everybody will go home. All you could be sad, but we sad too, but we did it anyway. And save you from a lifetime of trouble. That's your last chance to say, I changed my mind. Because I have serious marriages. Right? And I will tell you all something that ministers does not tell you all. How many persons in here was ever a best man or a chief bridesmaid? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have any idea why I did that? Huh? Right. Well, if all is so easy to get in trouble, I hope all you continue people just asking and you ain't find out why. In marriage, if you are married and marry again, that is called bigamy. The sentence for that larger than crime. You start at 20 years. Right? I send people to jail already. Right? Yeah, what it means over? Send them to jail. A guy leave Jamaica and came. He baptized. But you see, that is how ladies doesn't be diligent plenty times. I come here and I see you and like you. You think I listening to your preacher, you think I know you ain't going to marry me if I ain't baptized? To get you out of here baptizing, and I see you like me to you watching me grinning and thing, I grinning too. So, I baptized, but I have no intention of living a Christian life. Right? That's what he had planned. When you're going to marry and you put up the bands, do you know what putting up bands is? What? Huh? So what? No, I hear you say it, Laura.
No, I'm saying so that the public who sees it would be able to say whether there's a reason these people shouldn't be married.
Right. So here what is happening? He went Venezuela and picked up a lady over there and married she. You think Trinidad have that record? No. And then he come back here, she done. So when they put up the bands and they check, they will get nothing. But you see, this minister different, he's also a police. So the guy came from Jamaica. He was a bandit in Jamaica. So when they put up the bands, I did my investigation and found out that he's wanted by Interpol. Right? So he get locked up instead of married. And if I had married him, here what's going to happen to the marriage when that count. He came to Trinidad, went to the cemetery, and saw on the tombstone the birth name of somebody who died at 2 years old, went to the legal affairs and get the birth certificate and use the name and get authentic papers. You have an authentic ID and authentic birth certificate, but he's a crook. So he was sent to jail. An arrangement was made. He was deported to serve his sentence in Jamaica. So when you go and sign as a witness, you're guaranteed that my partner, we went to school together. If that happens, you go into jail because you lied. You said he was suitable for marriage and he wasn't. So if you feel his best man thing and chief bridesmaid and sign in, it is a serious thing. So when I marry people, I also let them know why you are a witness. No, I didn't say that for your little car-fight witness to get married. Right? But you see, this is what I'm saying. We need to educate people. We're in a lot of problems because we're not educated. Right? So, we said, what is the marriage? We're moving on. It's a monogamous relationship. What is a monogamous relationship? One and one. Genesis 2:24 and 25. Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and the wife, and they was not ashamed. A monogamous relationship. Romans 1, and we read it last night, so I read it again. Romans 7:1-3. Where a person is married while your partner is alive for life. Once your partner dead, you are released from that bond and you can marry who you want. That is the law. Right, the law of God. Right, so marriage is a very serious vow. Look, I put it up there for you all. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 1-6. It says, keep thy foot when thou go to the house of God. Coming down here to get married. And you ain't hurrying and you ain't understanding what you're doing. Be more ready to hear than to speak. Be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools. For they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth. Where you're going and say will judge you. Go and take vow. Huh? He says, let not thy heart be hasty to utter anything before God, for God is in heaven, and you are upon the earth. Therefore let your words be few. For a dream comes through the multitude of business, and fool's voice is known by the many words. When thou vow a vow unto God, defer not to pay it, for he have no pleasure in fools. You have to be real stupid to be playing games with God. God said, I have no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed. Better it is not to vow than thou should vow, than thou should not vow and not pay. If you're going to take the vow, you have to live it. Don't come and ask me no excuse how to not keep the vow. Find somebody else. Right. Suffer not thy mouth to cause your flesh to sin. Neither say thou before the angels that it was a mistake. Wherefore should God be vexed with you? He should be angry at your voice and destroy the work of his hands, which is you. God make you. God said don't do that. A vow is a very serious thing. When you go to court, the magistrate will never take your evidence unless you do what? Take a vow. That's what's why you take a vow. They don't care how you take it. Whatever is your religious preference, whichever God you serve, that is your highest authority, swear by that. If you're in a no God at all, you raise your right hand and swear by yourself, because same amount of jail you're going to get. But I just want you to take an oath, and you're bound by that oath. The Statutory Declaration Act says if you take a vow and it's not true, that you, here it go. You ever play Monopoly? And when you pull a card from the bank, What it say? Say, do not pass go. Do not collect 200. Go straight to jail. That's what it is when you're lying in court. There's no inquiry, no nothing. Straight to jail from there. It's a very, very, very serious thing. And they don't play with God. Right? So, that is what I was talking about. Legally, that's what it is there. Right? Well, I just tell you. So I ain't wasting time for you to read all that. Right? When you take a vow, both spiritually and legally, it's a very serious thing. Right? So as I say spiritually, look at Acts 2:30. God swore with an oath. Now when you're taking an oath, you're taking by a highest authority. Who God swore by? Himself. It has nobody higher than him. God swear with an oath, and he cannot and do not go back on his oath. We can do no less. Being slack is sin. Somebody go to Deuteronomy 23 for me, and let's read verse 21 to 23. See who get it quick. The first person get it with read. Deuteronomy 23, verse 21 to 23. What does it say? All right, so go loud, or what would people they hear?
If you make a vow to the Lord your God.
Uh-huh.
Do not be slow to pay it, for the Lord your God will certainly demand it of you, and you will be guilty of sin. But if you refrain from making a vow, you will not be guilty. Whatever your lips utter, you must be sure to do, because you made your vow freely to the Lord your God with your own mouth.
Right. That is why Brother Alexis not hurried to give his word. Once I give my word, I keep it. People feel, oh, I real diligent and all kind of that because I afraid God. I'm not giving you my word if I can't keep it. Right? And I learned that the hard way. And as a young man, I always do that. A young man. When I was 19, I was like that. One day, a brother, in them days, they didn't have no cell phone, only landline. And a brother, I tell a brother, meet me in town at a certain place. And I couldn't go. And I can't call him and tell him. He waited and I can't call him and tell him. So he was supposed to meet me for 2 o'clock, and I couldn't go. So I said, when I see him, I'll apologize. Around 4 o'clock, I was going in town, and I passed, he started up there. And I said, what is the position? He said, well, use a man and you get your word, you just keep it. So I waited. So he taught me what my word really means. My word is my bond. And after that, up to today, I don't ever give my word. Of course, if I can't keep it, I mean, if you say you're coming down to Trinidad tomorrow, 9 o'clock, and no plane and no boat, me expect you to walk on water, you know, Jesus. So I will understand. You understand what I'm saying? We're not talking about circumstances that can't be helped. But too many people frivolous. I reach the stage, let's say I worship in here, and tomorrow we have to come and clean the building. I will tell him in the announcement, announce it. But my job is to know the faithful. After I done the announcement, here we're going to ask, what time you coming tomorrow? You know what I'm asking you what time? Me asking if you're coming. Because you are faithful. What time you coming? What time you coming? Me have nothing to tell you rest. When I come tomorrow, I know it's true we're doing all the work. Be effects to them. Them have to face God. Feel like going to argue with the whole church? 20% of the church do 80% of the work all the time. And if you're going to get vexed, you will not do anything. So forget it. Come with a good heart and a good mind and do it because it's not going to get better. Because don't feel judgment, they will get better either. Right? Quickly. I'm making the point because see, that comes into the marriage. Remember we talk about the man of integrity? That he must keep his word. He must be reliable. How many out of 3 million people plus that leave Egypt reach Canaan? How many? 2 people. Caleb and Joshua. When God destroyed the earth by flood, how many people were saved out of the millions that was on the earth at the time? 8 people. Are you understanding how difficult it is to reach heaven? I said, as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. When you come there among the millions of people passing through the earth, and on Judgment Day, how many going to heaven? Guess what? It will be nobody's fault. but your own. Can make people devoted. They hurry doing everything else but things that pertain to God, which is life and godliness. That's your business, man. You go ahead. My job is to preach till I'm dead. You do what you want with it, but it's the word of God, not my word. Do your own thing. Right? So, me ain't going to beg nobody. The few we will do it till we're dead. God has no pleasure in fools, we saw in Ecclesiastes. Right. So, we talk about some prerequisites, and I want to deal with a few of them, and we will close. Number one, you're planning to get married despite, remember we talk about how to do the counseling and all them topics and things, right? But I'm giving you some information here now that you could start as a preliminary things in choosing somebody. Right? Now let me just say this by the way. This hard to swallow, eh? Do what you want with it. The person who will really make you happy, Sparrow sing about him. He said it's not the person who you love will make you happy. It's the person who loves you. So you have to keep that in mind. That is a truth. The person who will really make you happy, what you're really looking for, does not come in the package you want. Right? So your eyes does deceive you. Now, how does somebody pick somebody? They formulate without even knowing it. They formulate in their mind. You formulate in your mind the person you want for husband. So if you say, you might say, if you say in your mind, my husband must have long hair, I don't stand a chance how good ever I am. Because I ball it. You see what's going on? So the question is, you form somebody in your mind. They must have blue eyes, not black eyes, not brown eyes. Right? You follow going on? They must be shaped like a Coke's bottle if it's a lady. If it's a guy and he has no six pack. So meet my poor little puncher, he has no chance. That's how I'm saying. Doesn't matter how good I am, or how suited I am for you. You have in your mind. So when a lady or a man sees somebody and say, wow, I like her, it's because she fall into the profile you're looking for. And then you prejudice your mind. Right? So when she looking pretty and thing, and you hear she down the road put down some mouth on some people, you say, oh, God is a good thing. I didn't go and say that. So where do you love God, Mike? She's still looking how you like. You see what I'm saying? So the package you want sometimes don't come as slim as you want, or as fat as you want, or as tall or as short, or as, for instance, okay, I say there are 4 kind of people. We're talking in looks now, right? 4 kind of people. You have beautiful, beautiful people. You have ugly, ugly people. You have beautiful, ugly people. And you have ugly, beautiful people. Now, how we work that out? Well, a person who ugly and beautiful is, they may not be very handsome or pretty as a, but they have such good ways that, sometimes you don't even see how they look. But then there are some people, they're looking real nice, but real dirty ways. Well, the other speak for itself. A person with nice ways and looking good. And God help you if you get ugly. Because they're looking good and they have bad ways too. You're in trouble. Yeah? That's just on the surface. But getting in there, the first thing you must do to go into a relationship is know yourself. And plenty of people don't know themselves. Let me give you an example. One, because I had to watch the time, right? If you is let me use the men. I want to pong the ladies. I'm going to give the men something. So you as a young man, hear what you say. You say, when I get married, I want to be a little selfish for a little bit. See, them first 3 years, I ain't sharing my wife with nobody. So I don't want no share. After that. So when I come home Friday, I say, babe, see now, we're going through that. We jump on a plane, we come back Monday morning, we go straight to work. If we are sharing, we can't do that. You understand? So you say that, Having said that, you're going down the road and bong she up. She had a previous relationship with 2 children, but you like her. I am saying I don't know you. So here we're going to tell you. You say, well, here I have him. All right, I like you and then we will get married, right? But here what the thing is. You could ask your mother to keep the 2 children for the little 2 years so we could have time. Well, let me say 3 years. You know, you let them keep them. We can provide all the resources and things, right? Right. So it's have some mothers that let it try and take advantage of them. God made parents the mind children, not grandparents. Parents. Because you know how I know that for a fact? They say my mother they like me the best. That wasn't true. I did Fred licks the most. One day I do some rubbish and my mother pulled me to beat me. And when I come up in a corner there, she says she feel if she did touch where I did, I get all licks. I did Fred licks. So if my mother say, come home, 3 o'clock, 1:30 are you two? You understand? She said, why you come so early? I said, well, you know, I just didn't want to reach late. It licks like Fred. My sister was like that. If my mother said, don't watch the book, she come in right up to it soon. You understand? And when they hear in the neighborhood, they hear it, police, help, somebody help me. She and my mother running around the house to get licked. I ain't going down that. Right? So when you're given, parents have energy to do that. Grandparents don't. Why do you think they say grandparents are the spoiled children? Because I can't run behind me. I said, behave now, but come, let me get a sugar cake. And he stopped. So he said, well, I want the next one. So he said, I behave bad, I give my next one. To cool him down. So grandparents only gain your thing because they don't have the energy again. So you can't take advantage of the grandparents. But sometimes you want a little weekend, you can drop them at the grandparents, you understand? But anyway, we're taking advantage of the parents though. So you drop them there for the 2 years, right? And all you're going on nice. Next thing, her mom now, husband died and she remarried. Have a stepfather who's a terrible man. Next few years, he beating up your child. Here we're going to tell you, babe, see, I can't do that, you know. I want my chair now. What happened to that? Promise to give her. Back and I'll go and start now. Because you're going and take the chair because you have no choice. And then you have problems. See where it's going? If you know yourself, what you should have do is when you see her, say, she real nice, you know, to keep away from. Because I know me. You understand what's going on? That plenty of people don't know themselves. The first thing you have to do is to know yourself. Okay, that's what you're bringing into the relationship. You didn't know yourself, but you're coming to complicate my life? No. So you have to ask yourself a question like, who am I? What are my likes and dislikes? Huh? I met someone today. I can tell you who. You know, when I was at the beach, I met a lady and we were talking and thing. And we were talking the same thing. She lived for so long by herself that what has happened is you become territorial like animals. So you living by yourself, right? I go and say I married in you. You have a nice couch set here. This one does take 3 people, that one does take 2, this one does take 1. We married, and you in the kitchen. When I come, I have the TV on, I sit down there. You stand up here. What happened, babes? Where you sit down on my chair? A chair is a chair is a chair. But you see? So you see what's going on there? She accustomed to that one, that is she chair. So the we gone out, you know. 2 shall become 1. That done it. You see, a simple thing like that. So you have to know yourself. So when you're getting into marriage, you have to understand some of the things you have to give up and compromise and all of that. People don't know themselves. So who am I? What are my likes and dislikes? What are my strengths and weaknesses? You have to know that, not me keep telling you, don't do this, you're doing that, cause bacchanal. You have to know that. What vision do you have for your life? I meet you, good, and we married. You now know you want to do degree in England. I must wait 5 years for you. You now know that? So you didn't know all the time. If you told me when we getting married that you wanted to do accounting, but you had to go to England for 5 years, I would have said, well, I still love you, but find your next wife. Huh? So you have to know yourself, what vision you have for your life. If you share that with me, and I have that consistency, I say, well, babes, okay, I understand. Go ahead. Why go do is to come up once a year or wherever we can afford, and I know it's a sacrifice. I'm prepared for it. You come in and drop that on me and feel, oh, I should understand, it's going to be better men, all kind of foolishness. I didn't mind for that. I tell you, I had that staying power. Huh? So what vision do you have for your life? You have to know that before. How will a partner affect your life? How will a partner fit into the life that you now have? You're going to bring in somebody. How they will fit in? You have to know that, because that is the sacrifices you have to make. Am I amenable to change? When you go for dinner, you know that, let me say you go to Hilton for dinner, a real 4-course dinner, right? They give you hors d'oeuvres, a little water, glass or something to drink, and when you're done eating the hors d'oeuvres are, what do you call it? The hors d'oeuvres is always extremely tasty, but you'll always get a little bit, because what that aim is to open your appetite for the main course that come in. You follow? But it tastes real good, so sometimes when you do so, you eat yours quick, you're watching mine and say, you want yours? No, that's not the purpose. The purpose is not to fill your belly with hors d'oeuvres. It's to open your appetite to receive the main course. So if I am going to get married, no, I'm single. I'm looking for a lady. So we considering things. Here are one of the things I will consider. So if you say to me, and I'm saying to you, the central meal, the meal is, what is considered the main meal is the meat. So you might be eating lamb, that might be $230, and they tell you can get 2 entrees to go with it, some Brussels sprout or, potato salad or something, but the main course. So let's call this diet relationship, right? And let's call the main course love. So everybody love. Right, we take that for granted. We good with that? Right, everybody love. If there's only one thing you could add with that, one good grace to go with that, what will it be for you? No, she loves you, you love her. But to go with that, another good grace, there's only one you can have to go with it. What would you choose? Trust, right. What would you choose? Peace, right. What would you choose? Right. I will choose that. Are you amenable to change? And if not, I don't want you at all. If you could give me that, we could fix trust and everything else. But there are too many people don't grow. Some of the problems we had in church are not real problems. It's brethren who wouldn't grow after so many years. And this church stagnant. Yeah, let me give you an example. Here is him. How old he is? About 3, 7. Oh, right. I apologize. Right. So he too big. But take a 3, 4-year-old. You get them a board and you put all the shapes in it. Circle, triangle, trapezium, square, and all them things, right? And you give him the shapes to put in. He takes a circle and tries to put it in a triangle and it wouldn't go. What happened? He started to get frustrated. He started to get vexed. He started to cry. He backed it up. He threw it inside the ball. You just come and take the circle and put it in and he smile and he clap and thing. Right? What's the difference between you and him? Immaturity. He's just immature. So he doesn't know. It's our brethren like that. Everything. The church is a problem. Because they wouldn't grow. Keeping back the church. Go read Hebrews when you get chance, chapter 5 and 6. Right? So what I'm saying is, if you are amenable to change, it means that when you go wrong and I correct you, you don't have to find a defense. All you have to say is, I'm sorry. Right? And I will say, I still love you. And that might be a good reason to go and celebrate. And I like to celebrate. You understand? So we celebrate it often. But no, you want to play God. So every time you try to correct you try to get a good reason why you're doing it. No, be humble. I'm going to say, okay, babes, I understand. Right? So if I do something and you tell me, if I do something and I know it good, and you complain, I wouldn't get vexed. Because after good is a comparative. I'll get better. If I do it better, you complain, I have no problem. We go to superlative, I'll do it best. And when I do it best, you complain, I will start inventing now. But I get vexed and mash up nothing. And that's the problem. You must ask yourself, are you amenable to change? Because you come in and bring problem in people's life. Right? Do I submit to authority? You hearing him abuse his mother, talk to how he wants, are you going to marry him? So when he reach home, Right? When I come to date with you, we go out and think. When we finish, we courting and think. When we finish, what happens? I drop you home and I go home. When I'm married, where's home? Where both are we is. Eh? So you have to deal with all are me. I know where to go again. So, is he a man who submits to authority? If he is disrespectful to his sisters and his family, your turn come in. So you have to ask yourself these things. Who am I? Right? Secondly, look for true beauty. True beauty. 1 Peter 3:1-8 we talked about last night where he talks about the woman who is of a quiet spirit and whose adornment is not just about fancy thing, right? Who in the sight of God is precious. Which is saying, God is saying, if I was looking for a bride and you don't have that, he married in you. That's how you have to be. And we know that being submissive and being stupid, we talked about that last night. It means being weak, right? What it is you understand who you are. I am a woman I made for a particular purpose. He's a man he made for a purpose. We put that together and work it beautifully and we happy. Right? So I ain't going back through that whole thing there, all them scripture we deal with last night. But look for true beauty. Not somebody who handsome and pretty and all them things alone, but they must have that quality of personality. Number 3. Right? 1 Samuel 16:7. I just using the example where Saul said on the prophet Samuel said unto Saul, look not. God had sent him. Remember to crown a king. He said go to Jesse family. Jesse had a whole set of children. So when he go, based on what God gave him the qualification, he looked. He said, nah, not he. He said, not he. He said, but these all your children? He said, no, it only have one more, the little boy up the road seen by the sheep. He said, send for him. He said, but it certainly can't be he. So he then tell him, but the Lord said unto Samuel, tell him, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord sees not as man see. For man look on the outside appearances, but God look at the heart. If you want to marry somebody, you have to find out what's going on in the head, not what they look like. And too many of us spend no time finding out that. And there are ways to know how to do that. Now, to redeem the time, let me see, we have a little time. We're going till 9 tonight. Tonight we're done. So I'm taking you 15 minutes. Let me tell you how you could do that. Have you all ever looked at National Geographic? Have you looked at Animal Planet and so on? Good. How do these people who is telling you all these things accurately about these animals, how do they know that for a fact? Huh? Not study. She have it right stealth. What they do, animals was placed, the fear of man was placed in them. That's why when animals say they naturally run, unless you could catch them and tame them and so on, they naturally run. So if it have a whole set of geese there or any animal and you approach it, they're gone. Stealth, we stay miles away with powerful cameras and we see how the mother is dealing with the young one and how the male is dealing with the female and all that, and they don't know we're watching. Human beings are no different. If you want to find somebody to marry, you must see them when they know you're seeing them. Yeah? Let me give you an example. So she, like me, we caught in, she come home by me. And I don't know, I home bathing. She come home, my mother sweeping the yard. My mother know her. My mother say, hey, come to my chair. She said, well, he bathing, you know. I'll go and call him for you. You could sit in the gallery by the time. She sits in the gallery, and she hear my brother Lindsay say, but Merch, you get paid, you know, boy. Boy, I have up till Monday. Today's Friday. If I don't pay for my exam, I have to wait a year again now. Lend me a little change, let me go and pay for it now. Boy, no, boy, you can't get my money, boy. And you sit down there where you just learn. Oh, you ain't paying attention. Pay attention, you just learn is stingy. Now, what something? So you say, I'm going to test him. Eh? So when I come out, you're going and then and we chatting and they say, boy, you know, I really need a $200. I say, no problem. Where is that? Bribe. Because you already know who I am. So I have to impress you. Here the 200 and you say, oh, that's only you, brother, not me. But you see, I'm home with my brother. I'm going to be home with you just now. Wait, your turn come in. Eh? So when you want to know, so if I come to this congregation, so I live Trinidad, I come to live in Tobago, and I am a single. So I see you and I like you. So here happen. Me and Nanda say, I come here, I see you, I say, how you going, sis? I shake your hand and I always get and thing. But I realize you like me too, you know. I get our vibes too, but me saying nothing. Me saying nothing. For 2 years, I just about browsing and thing. By the time I come to tell you I like you and let's get into a relationship, if you could fool me with your nice behavior, I already make you out for you. Yeah. So when you want to transform now and do all kind of thing, I know you ain't catching me with that because I don't make you out for who you are already. When I was making my consideration, I'd already make my notes. That's what I'm referring to, not this new behavior now. Can't fool me. We don't do these things. So you have to not just look at the outside. People can do that very good. Look nice. Understand? They're looking good, but they're not good looking. So you have to be careful. Right? So nice point. Number, how much? 2 or 3? That was 2. Number 3, consider environmental factors. This one is for you. Yeah, we have to consider environmental factors. What it is? The person, did they come from poor discipline? Now, I'm not saying that they can't change, but I'm saying you can't ignore. And I agree with you, I'm not saying not to ignore the past, but you have to bring it into the future and make it relevant. So if a person comes from poor discipline, they will exhibit it in the relationship. You have to pay attention to that up front. Weak ethical values. You have to look at that. What is ethical values? So I and you going in the store. Things hard. All I have is $5. You say you want some mint, I go and buy the mint. $2 mint, get 4, I buy the mint. The cashier only talking, and minding her business. She thinking I give her $100. She give me $97 change. For my $5, I put in my pocket. And I come back and say, girl, we bless. Look, you get it in a mint, and you know I get $97. He said, where you get that from? I said, well, the cashier give me. He said, no, you can't do that. That's a mistake she make. I thief it, I ain't thief it, she give me. No ethical values. You married me, that coming back to haunt you later in the remarriage. You have to examine people's ethical behavior. All right? Weak ethical values, low moral values. If a person comes from a broken home, domestic violence, alcohol, drinking, all these tendencies, follow them. So you have to pay attention. Right? So for instance, let's say Lindsay's father beat up his mother right through. He come from that home, but here what he did. He idolized the neighbor. He's aligned with this guy, and his father was a good home. So he said in his mind, I will make his father my idol. And when I marry, I will never do what my father do to my mother. You see what I'm saying? So, yes, but he come from that. But as you watch him, as you get close and you look, you will see the difference. And you can ask questions as you go along and find out. You see? But you cannot ignore these things. You know what I'm saying? I am not saying to write off people because they have these situations. You understand? But you can't ignore it. You have to pay some attention to it. Right? Fourthly, consider personal characteristics. That people don't like to bathe. I mean, they're safe in water, but they must bathe. Right? So you have to look at people's personal character. Right? Look at, are they entrepreneurial? They have education, they apply for a job and get them, but they sit down, they're lazy. Are they entrepreneurial? Are they ambitious? Are they dedicated? When they're doing something, they make sure they give it their all and do it the best. Right? Are they devoted to worship? You just come worship every Sunday and time. Give and take, something could happen, but you're always here. You're watching, he always late. 3 years passed, he never one day do the Lord's Supper. He never even opened prayer. He wouldn't pass a broom in the building. Huh? But you're going to marry him. And now when you marry him, Sunday morning when you change him to go to worship, he watching Manchester play Chelsea. Tell, well, babes, go ahead now, go catch you later. And you vex. Where you vex for? That is what he used to do when he was sitting down here. So why I wasn't paying attention? You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is he devoted to worship? Because if you are devoted to worship, you'll have problems in your life all the time. Huh? Is he lazy? Is he industrious? Is he spendthrift? You have bills to pay, things to do. He gambling. Right? He hoping every day the lotto will come down and he name. And the money go in. No, you have to look at all these things. Is he benevolent? People need, and he have, but he wouldn't give. You have to pay attention to that. Is he a loving person? Is he forgiving, apologetic? You understand? All these things we're supposed to be doing during courting, but all you're watching is, oh God, I like how he looking, and I like how she looking, and you ain't paying no attention. And when you get in the marriage, it's have to show up. Right? Right. Number 5, consider religious differences. Be not unequally yoked. That is a lesson to be taught by itself. So I ain't going to get too much into that because I have a problem. Right? Be not unequally yoked together. That is from Genesis to Revelation. I ain't getting it. If I only get into that, I trouble. All you have to plan to spend the night here. You say, go ahead, but the rest want to go. Right? And that's why we ask, should a Christian marry someone outside of the faith? Right? I starting a little piece, but I ain't going far with that. We can't go far with that. So forget that. 6, consider health issues. Right? Consider health issues. Years ago, I dealt with that issue where a couple going real good. And one morning, the man wake up and he has 3 venereal diseases at the same time. The question is, when he had gone by the doctor, he had nothing. Now, herpes is a disease that stay undercover. You could have it and not know. And by the time you find out, it's for life. All you could do is control it. If you don't control it, it kill you. But you could control it and live. But don't go. Right? And found out that each blaming the other. But when you do the check, you would know where it originate. Right? But the truth is, in a modern world, it's not like yesteryear. Can't like people at face value. So here we're going on. I and you reach the stage where you say, like me, so we gone from dating, and we in a relationship where we going on good enough, but you say, I really like you. We say, okay, we want to be together. That ain't no problem. Right, I'm going to show you. Right, I'm showing you. Right, this is my AIDS certificate. Let me see yours. You see, if I tell you that you need to take an AIDS test, you start to get vexed because I accusing you like you just playing all kind of thing. So I go and take the test. I know me by showing you mine. So don't feel me going further without I seeing yours. Huh? Yes, it have health issues. When I was growing up, it had about 2 venereal diseases, herpes and syphilis. Now it have about 17. And I said, one person had 5 one time. So you know, that's a player. Problems. So you cannot get into a relationship with and just figure out where we like one another and we love. No, you have to go and do your health test. You go, both all you can go together and do a full medical. It has cost about $1,800 because they will do scans, they'll check your blood, check, diet. Right, so let me see if I could say this one in a diplomatic way for the young people here now. 2 things. This one ain't so bad. You marry somebody and you do a medical and a background check on the family. So the person you go and marry, his father was mad. His grandfather was mad. And his great-grandfather was mad. You marry him, he going okay, but then only have 3 children, 3 mad children running around the house. Let me hear how you're dealing with that. No, you can't. Do not love nobody with your emotion first. Love them with your heart first, brain. If the brain say no, tell the emotion you have to cool it till I find somebody else. Because it's too late. When your emotion shattered, it's hard for your heart to understand anything. Don't see nobody and fall in love. You don't fall in love. You grow in love. You ever fall in love with nobody? Go and buy a plant and rest it down home. You don't expect it to dead. You're coming back in the nursery and tell me, but you know the plant dead? Well, when it was here, we used to take up the dry leaf, put a little water, put a little manure, and we used to keep it looking green and healthy. You take it up and carry it home, and you have to nurture it. Relationship has to be nurtured too, else it will die. Huh? So no, you have to do that. And don't who go and blame. Then hear this next one now. Go in the next one now. You go on and marry. You marry, let's say you marry around, not around you 23, 24. With men, uphill is up to 30. From 30 onwards is downhill. Until it's no hill again, you reach on the flat. Good. So he who have ears, let me hear what the Spirit say. Right. So here what's going on. You're going and marry this man, do no medical check and background, and his family have type 2 diabetes. So by the time he reaches 30, he's only sitting down. Read between the lines. So what is going to happen to that relationship? You see, you're not accusing nobody, you're not pointing no finger. This is the reality of relationship. If you was living anyhow before, don't. We're doing it to save both of us from ourselves. So, consider health issues, hereditary diseases. There was a family living close to where I grew up, and when they reach, they're very pretty ladies, and the guy, as they reach in the 30s, they all go mad and die. And the lady who was living right next door to us, I grew up as a young man knowing her. So I was like, let's say 15. She would have been like 20, So by the time she reached in her 30s, she leave home and and just walk straight off a cliff and dead, and fall down and dead. Right? And the whole family is like that. Right? So when you marry somebody like that, you have to know. And you shouldn't hide them things. Now, if I know that and I love you, I prepare for it. Straight case, I prepare for it. And wherever we could do, whether we could get scientific help, wherever we do it. But when that time comes, if you're gone, I will be contented. So I am not saying because you're like that, I'm going to leave you. But I have to know. You can't set me up because I'll be devastated when I think we know start life is done. So you have to revisit where we were. Can't run no relationship in ignorance. So social diseases, heredity, general health issues, right? Immunization and so on. You need to make sure you have that. When the COVID came out, I was able to travel easy because what happened was people started to pay attention to other things. When you leave to go to the country, they're checking to see if you had yellow fever, if you had this, you had that. Plenty of people couldn't travel. Because all the other things now, people start to realize, we in we country with if you to spread nothing. Look, they say this thing come back in the States, measles. You understand? So if you go in now, you may well stop in the States, they may well stop you and check. So I have my international immunization card. I went to the health authority and let them put all my thing on that card. Everything, smallpox, yellow fever, everything is on that. So when I traveling, and if you want it, I have it. Right? So you have to look at those things. Number 7, consider doing a compatibility test. What do I mean by that? It have no two compatible people. But it have some people just not suited for each other. Because you have some ways you love and you want to change them. And I have some too. And the ones I have, you don't like it at all. And I don't like what you have. So why should I marry and we fight till Jesus come back? So let me solve that problem for each other. You can do compatibility testing. Right? I can't go through the test now. It's a long thing, right? But you will consider the level of dissonance. How far apart are we? Are we willing to bridge that gap? If not, let me don't go down that road. And you do these things as soon as, I and you hanging around each other long and we going out and whatnot. So I ain't tell you yet that I want you to be my wife. You ain't tell me nothing that you want me to be your husband. But we don't know we're interested in one another. So by the time we're coming around to talk about that interest that will lead to marriage, it's time for us to do these things. Because it will make sense if we discover now. Now, the higher you go, it's not the harder you'll fall. Well, the deeper we get into each other, it's the harder to let go. So as early as possible, if we can knock things out the way, it will cause you to move on. I mightn't sleep for 2 weeks, but that's all right. Not 2 years. Understand? Right. So you consider the level of dissonance, the amount of discourse, the discord we would have, disagreement, right? Conflicts, differences of opinion, right? Psalms 139 and 14 says, I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knows right well. Don't play around. Know that we are complicated beings, every one of us. Right? So let's make things easy for each other. Right? Also, it's good to know about your fingerprint and all of that. Because when nothing else can work, sometimes, God forbid, but your mate could end up in a fire or some kind of thing or missing, and they find a body. You may not be able to recognize the person. But if you have a copy of the print don't change. So you get them to make a copy of the print and you keep each other prints. You're wishing for the worst, but preparation, an ounce of prevention is better than whole pound of cure. All right? So it's important to do that. Good. And number 8, last, final. Consider the new cultural shift. This is not for you, like for he. That is for the men. Right? How we are going to deal with it as a church and in a society. You notice who's sitting down there? Who's sitting down there? Who's sitting down there? Huh? A woman. You notice how she dressed? She ain't looking empowered. Right. The new cultural shift, women empowerment. So we talk a few minutes about the power of the purse. Currently, as I speak, more women are employed than men. More women are more highly paid than men. So, I working for $5,000, you working for $40,000. How much money we have? She can't. She can't. You see, the two shall become one. We have $45,000, but the power of the purse is causing mash up in relationship. Right? So we agree that we will stay with the car we have because we want to get the house. We don't want to keep renting. But when she got in the office, all them ladies car mark P-E-H, P-E-J. So she come in and tell me, babes, I think we should buy the car, So she was driving it. So all our plans go down the drain because she want to live to the standard of the ladies. And then when I tried to reach, she said, anyway, it's my money. The power of the purse, bacchanal. So how do you get to work that relationship? And this is where we are now. To have endless ladies in their own apartment, and they decide they won't get married, they just use men when they need one. But they have their own car and their own big apartment, wherever it is, all over Trinidad. Right? So, see them with the purse. The power of the purse. So, our number of things right there is something you need to do. This is a final one, final. I ain't going into that. But the decline in traditional value versus American lifestyle. We have given up our way where we used to talk about how we grew up and our family, the villages. We give it up. Look at the difference there. I'm going to go a little closer because, it kind of small. But traditional lifestyle is that we strive to be faithful. American, many partners, goal, blinging. We talk about getting married, they live in common law. We talk about stable communities, they mobile. They buy a mobile home, this week they're in Texas, next week they're in Virginia, all over the place. So you know village again. We talk about having fellowship. They live in isolation. The whole of America is a gated community. Right? So this gated community here, when you drive through a gated community like a cemetery, you don't see nobody. Right in Trinidad. So what is happening? Your child get in an accident. This is your neighbor living across the road. You know how she find out that? On TV in the news. Huh? No communication, gated communities, isolation. Right? We talk about secure, because more together we are secure. Them talk about fears. Everybody is fearful. Love in the home, money only. Everybody working. There's no time for that. Staying together, divorce flying left, right, and center. Give me a movie star you all know that's still together. When I get a chance, tell me about that. No. Right? Staying together, no, them is divorce. Not much media. Oh God, they're dealing with media lies. When they look at the advertisement, they show you a bottle of rum and they show you a nice lady. And then they say smooth, and then they show you the bottle of rum. So when you watch the lady smooth, the rum just go wrong so. They ain't showing you how much alcoholics house smash up. That is the modern life. Media lies. We tell stay pure. No, every young person pregnant. Where is the parenthood? They ain't done learn what they go teach. We talk about truth, advertising, misrepresentation of values. That lesson by itself. Right? So the pressures of modern urban living, new isolated societies, you have no real neighbors, no support for the siblings, gated communities, increase in violence, fears, both parents to work to maintain the so-called standard of living, high rent and mortgages. So, that is where we are. That is where we are. But there's one, let me see if I can do it. Let me see, on the laptop here. Oh, you have it there? See if you can click on it. It's a song I want to play. Yeah, it's a song. Go to the last slide. So you have to go right on. The last slide, the very last slide. You come right on. You have it there. So that is it. Yeah. Go back. Right, this. No, yes. Click. You take it off the thing. There's no how is a. Yeah, right. See if you can get it to play. I don't know if you think it. You had a public volume. I don't know. Once it plays, let me see. Listen to this.
You don't. You walk down here and join the church and you say, now I'm a member of the church, but you're not. You marry somebody and say, you can count on me, I'll be there through the thick and the thin, for better, for worse, for richer and poor and sickness and health. You didn't mean it. You have to be committed through the storm and the rain and the heartache and the pain and the disappointment. You have to believe in the we and the us and not the me and the you. Or you're not gonna make it. It's a commitment. It's not a feeling. You gotta come home when you're in love, and you gotta come home when you're not in love. Or you're not gonna make it. And stay there until the love comes back. It's a commitment. It's a commitment. It's a commitment. It's a commitment. Commitments don't have nothing to do with your feelings. You do it because you're supposed to. And stop expecting to be rewarded for what you're supposed to do anyway. Stop bragging about how you brought your money home. You were supposed to. Stop bragging about how you took care of me. You're supposed to take care of me. It's a commitment. This ain't a date. This is a commitment. We have passed the stage of dating. We made a commitment. That's why they said for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health. The preacher knew that at least one of us was going to be crazy. He was warning you from the beginning. It's a commitment. You picked out that crazy man. You chose that crazy woman. Shut up. Did nobody put her on you? You wouldn't rest till you got her. Now shut up. You wouldn't listen at nobody. Everybody tried to tell you. People tried to warn you. No, no, no. I just gotta have her. Well, now you got her. Shut up. It's a commitment. No, ain't nobody teaching this stuff. Somebody has got to arrest this crazy generation that wants to take everything and give back nothing. You take a half-committed man and a half-committed trifling woman and put them together, and they'll have some half-committed trifling kids, and the whole house will be half-committed because children will be what they see. Stop fussing at your kids. They're a reflection of you.
That's the point. Marriage is serious. It's a commitment. When you make it, you have to live it. So any questions or comment, and then we will close.
I'll keep it short because I realize that we went a little late. A couple questions. You spoke a little bit about finances, but I wonder to get your view on I guess the concept of combining finances, or what I see people doing more now is a kind of hybrid thing where there's my money, there's your money, there's our money. And what are your views on that? And secondly, well, in a bygone era, you used to have to write home to a young lady's father, a literal letter. And I guess the whole idea behind it was getting the parental blessing. And so I wanted to do your view on that now, on, I guess, the importance or non-importance of that.
Right, okay, so let's deal with the finance. I will not marry a woman I don't trust. So if we go and get married, we have a joint account. If you take all and go, you go. God, who give me, you give me more. That is, you live with your conscience and your God. But if I'm married and I'm looking back, I don't want to marry somebody I to look back over my shoulder. You're not worthy of me. So God said the two shall be one, and how about 3 a week? Me, you, and your disbelief, and I'm gonna think, no. If you are to rob me, then let it be so. But I am not marrying you, because how I can get you to really love me when you know we have these things hanging over our head? Let's stop pretending. Let me say, don't play no games. Because you know I don't trust you. And you know I don't trust you because you don't trust me. So let me be real. I have no problem with, other than our money, we have a separate account, in the sense like, if she leaves home and bunks up Sister Church and the rest, and they want the line, well, there's no problem. If she say, well, she turned to sponsor, well, spend money, me, I no problem. But I know you have an account, how much in it, you know I have an account, how much in it. For me like money. So when you give me money, man, don't look back. So all the bills, you ain't complain about bills, you know? You have all the money. Pick care of all the bills and everything. But when you had the money and you say, hold that, it come like it have no money in my hand. I spend it all. So, right, because that is disposable income. But savings, you put that, pay all the bills, buy clothes for you, the chair, and do whatever is the main concern. If God call me home, I'm under the money. And he will call me home. I'm not going through them things. So I am saying, why must I marry you? You come to tell me about, a combi call kind of thing. Me ain't going through that. Find somebody else to go through that. Me ain't telling you, do all I want to do. I'm not going through that. When I trust, I want to sleep when the night comes. I'm going through that. You're not worried of me. So if you ain't ready, you're not ready. So if you have to go with all the money, God knows you have to go with all the money. And if you're going to me vex at all, anything God give me, he can give me back 10 times. You feel like go and study that, and I ain't losing one night sleep over that. That is me, I'm talking for all you, do all you want. Right? So if we reach the stage where we decide we're going to get married, we'll open a joint account. And before I met you, I would have an account. If you want to have an account, have your account. I would have one too. But our prime money is in this account. To do anything has to be done. And even in my account, when I spend money, I will tell you. Because we have that arrangement and agreement, and we're living for each other. All that could do is build trust among us. Think about it. You would have absolutely no uncertainty about me. My word is my bond. So I ain't see money a problem. If we're going to get married with that, know, if you ain't trust me, what you expect from me. So why we getting married in the first place? No, help me, help me. So what kind of marriage you want to have? What kind of that Hollywood marriage? No, I ain't going down that road. Right. And then the other one. Right. Now, it all depends on where you come from. And I'll tell you why I say that. One don't need parental blessings to marry. But if you have a good relationship, it is nice to have. Right? Because if I make up my mind, I'm marrying her, and my mother wouldn't give her blessings, I just say, oh, parents, well, fine. We reach a point where I'll have to put it in writing. I'll let you know, I expect you to give me away, but you have up to 3 weeks before. Because if you don't, I'll have to find somebody else. But I going ahead. When we get married, me and who lying down in bed? Oh, you don't know? Me and my wife. So therefore, I will love to get your blessings. It says something about relationship. It also says that you can't pick for me. You must train me so well that I am well informed to make a choice that would make me happy based on God's word. Otherwise you fail. But you can't find, well, I carry her home, right? Well, I'm interested in her, but I ain't going nowhere. When I carry her home now, my mother ain't like her. Here my mother will tell me she ain't like her. Because, let me use some wisdom. She ain't going to want to tell me that she ain't like this one. Yeah, what she will do when this one goes? She say, wait now, where's Susie? I said, bring her home, I ain't seen her. You see this psychology? So that's way I say it. I don't like this one. I prefer that one. Well, you could prefer and rather. By the end of the day, if you have to give me some reason for, if you want, we can have a discussion. Maybe things I don't know. And that could be sorted out and all of that. Blessings is good, but I have no scripture I can bring to show me where you must get at married. It will, that you are talking about a breakdown in the family relationship, that's what you're talking about. Because from the time I see somebody and I like them, I'm supposed to be having conversation with my mother and my parents, but not when I'm ready to get married. From the time I know my intention is to deal with you, you coming home. My parents must see you. And guess what? You must know I really love you. I have to be able to stand up for you. Because I could have some prejudiced sister hear what she's saying. She ain't telling me nothing. No. These my two sisters talking. But he could do better than that. And they said it's hard for she to hear. So that way to tell her, we ain't want you for no sister-in-law, but I'll pepper them and let them know I love her. She don't have to come here. Right? And if she had to come here, then I wouldn't bring her here. But I will marry her, and when I marry her, I have to live with her, not both all you. You understand? And we still brothers and sisters. Mind all your business. So she knows she has full support from me for the rest of her life. I'm standing up. Can't do that. And me vex it all your my sisters, all your bowl. Then I bring somebody who only like, and when I catch him a royal with that person, all I'm playing all you and see. Nobody had nothing to say. It's going down that route. Right? So it have a lot of things that are good traditions that if you maintain it is okay. When I wanted to marry, I went and talked to my parents. Because could I do that? But if they didn't want me to talk to them, they'd get an invitation to the wedding. Straight case. You understand? So we try to avoid anything because remember later on, like when you're married, it's really a whole family you're married. So you have to keep that in mind. When you're getting into a family, you have to realize I'm marrying the whole family. And you have to prepare for the relationship afterwards. So if my wife know, well, if I marry you, I wouldn't get support from you because you put your family above me. If God wanted me and my mother to be one, when I born, he didn't want to cut the neighbor string. You know? I could have go to Australia and the neighbor string will stretch. And stay intact because God make it. From the time you're born and they cut the neighbor string, don't breathe now. Don't breathe now as if you're dead. God cut the neighbor string. So the mother, you're not drawing from them, you have a different kind of nurturing take place. And you bring up a child in such a way that the family relationship will be good. And I trust that you will pick family like that too. So we're not losing a child. I'm gaining a son or I'm gaining a daughter. And the two family would relate from, in whatever way from time to time. But it does not always work that way. So the question is between the two people, how much and how strong is the devotion to each other? You have to question that. So once I know I have your full, support, I going down. And if my mom and them think, well, when I go in, I say, babes, I have my mom and them, you ain't bound to come. That ain't no problem. But they interfere in my relationship. Right? And one thing I love about my mom, she died in 2019. My mom said she never one day interfered in none of us relationship. She said she made up her mind she's going to be the best mother-in-law. So I remember one time in the early stage of my marriage, we was having some problems. And my mom saw. She didn't say a word. So my wife had confidence in my mother. She said, your mother will be fair. So I ain't talking to nobody, we're going to talk to your mom. So when we go to my mom, and my mom say, yes, I saw. But it's not my business, me say nothing. But since all you come, well, good, lick share. Lick share, I take my licks. You understand? But that's how it ought to be. You have to have that confidence. Right? Anybody else? Yes.
Just to piggyback a bit on Brother's question, do you believe that a parent sees beyond what the child is seeing? That's one. And two, the list of stuff that you gave that this couple has to go through, what is the time frame for going through all of that?
And what I'm saying is people shouldn't be rushing to get into marriage because it's permanent. Because if you're rushing, it means you only want to satisfy the hormones. And when you don't satisfy the hormones, life goes on. All them things coming back and mash up the hormones ain't count after that. So I usually tell people a minimum of 6 months, come to me. If you can't come to me 2 weeks and tell me you'll get married, not me. I'll tell you all the list of officers you could go by. Marriage officers. So you know you wanted to get married, then prepare. You see, remember you were making the point, they don't want no counseling. So they've been dating for years. And they never intended to counsel if they were serious. All that time when they dated, they say, well, babe, see what's happening. You know, use my special. So here what happened, we start to prepare. They could have come 2-3 years before and we do one according to them. But if you give me at least 6 months, we could schedule like one a week so we could get to discuss it properly. And you go back, and by the time you come back for the next session, you could talk about, you know, when you all look at it, some of the problems and shortcomings and how we can fix it, and we go down the road. When you come and tell me, well, next month, a couple came by me recently, and we go through, and when I tell them what and thing, I say, right, me see them again, me feel like calling them. I know they intend to do no, they're looking for somebody who just carry them along the altar and say, married and gone. And then when the problems start, I will be part of the marriage and part of the divorce. So if I avoid part of the marriage, I wouldn't be part of the divorce. And these are the things we suffer in growing up. Mr. Lindsay, Brother Lindsay, we didn't get this. We suffer immensely from lack of education about life and make all kind of mistakes. When we look back, sometimes we sit down and cry and realize, you know, no, we could avoid all these things. We just did not know. We do what we call it. We do our best. You think God asked you to do your best to bring up children? God don't want your best. God wants obedience. He tell you what to do to bring up children. That's what He wants you to do, and you'll get the result. Not your best. Obedience is your best. So I'm saying, yes, parents could see things, but you know what I come back to? Relationship. If you are having a relationship with your child in a good way from long, there's no comfort in discussing it. So I could say, well, Gail, I know you like John Brown, you know, but this is my observation. And then she might say, you know, it's true. That's my observation, because my observation could be wrong, you know. So I'm binding it, you know. But when I show you, I say, you know, so. I say, it's true, you know. She may choose, she should have some wisdom to not go and tell him, well, you say, to make enemy with your mother-in-law and so on. But she would say, go to him and say, you know, I was considering so and so, I was observed so and so. And he might say, Gail, it's true, no longer struggling with that boy. And we could talk about where you could get help and work it out. You follow? But I can't see things and then come in an attitude and tell you, girl, me and you studied it for, you know, because I see it. No, we can't do that. We can't do that. So that is why it's so important when they reach those age to build a relationship, that as they grow, they're comfortable talking with you. Right? Watch me. It's 5 biological children I have, and 2 children came, you know, with the package, so it's 7. The youngest one is 32. The eldest one is 46. And I have a relationship with them. My ears is rinsed out. Sometimes I'm talking to them any night and I'm sleeping because they're going out. But I would listen. You understand? We have that relationship. Right? You have to build it. So when we're talking about these things, like I see things and like, you know, it's a problem, it should not be. It all boils down to relationship. Relationship is something that has to be nurtured. You ain't talking to me when I small, when I big. Every time you go to talk to me, it come like a problem. You know, like you only complaining. You only finding fault. You know, that's how it's looking. But once we could talk right through, you know I have your best interest and I have your back. Because when it's good thing, I will tell you. When it's indifferent, I'll tell you. And when it's not so good things, I will also tell you. And the spirit, I will tell you anytime, no conflict. Because you know me. And you know what I stand for. You know. So sometimes, I remember one time, my daughter, when she was around 11, she said, Daddy, we have a discussion. She said, I don't like you at all. I said, that is good. Right? She said, I mean that is good. You see, if you can't tell me that you wouldn't like me and I wouldn't know and I can't do nothing about it. You see what I'm saying? So the fact that you can come and tell me you like me, I know there's a problem. And if I jump from there, I'll come back to it. When my son was about 6 years, he said, Daddy, I don't like you at all. So I said, why? He said, because you're not fair. I said, I'm not fair. He said, on Sunday, Mommy just gave the drumstick and the chest, the breast. I just always get wing and foot and thing. He said, and I don't like you because I find I am fair. So I tell her, well, I say, okay, next week Sunday, give the drumstick, give the breast. Well, I the best daddy do it. You see, this is what I'm saying. You must, if you don't have the relationship, they can't tell you. Right? And then she said, you know why I don't like it? Because why you just have to always be right? I say, well, I don't try to be right. See, what I do, I don't agree plenty things, but if God said to do this, I do it. And it just turn out that I just get the result, the right thing. But it's not that I feel I'm right, I just do what God said to do. And she understand. So sometime later on, some problem come up. And because she will do she own thing and crash. So she come and she said, Daddy, I have to do so and so, tell me what to do one time. because I always wrong you right, so tell me one time. Based on relationship. So if I know you're going into a lifetime situation and there is something, I can't afraid to tell you that. But not in a malice way or preference like, well, I prefer she than this one. No, I am pointing out some things in that list. You see what I'm saying? I am able to say, consider this because I observe that. And I ain't telling you, and I tell you, consider it. Because if you don't, you will make a choice, but you will have to live it. And then you will say, Mommy was right. So you have to build a relationship. We all right there? Okay. Well, we need to close. We went overboard, but tonight is the end. All right? So I want to thank you all very much for over the last few days. You've been a good audience, and I trust that what we learn, we will all help one another and incorporate and have a better church, also have a better community as we being the light of the world. Thank you all very much. God bless.
Say amen. If Ole get something from that message, Ole is the problem, not the message. But Murchison, we thank you for bringing your skill and your knowledge to us here in Tobago, and from Canaan and the rest of Tobago, we thank you. We can't thank you enough. We are looking forward to the next time you are here with us to do something in this manner. Our theme for this month, for this year, is building families, and this is targeting that and helping us grow in family and in our faith. Let's end in a word of prayer, and then we'll sing a chorus, and then you could be on your way. Bow and close our eyes. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, Lord. We are thankful that we are privy to this knowledge in due time. We pray that whatever message that we've given, we'll take the things that we can use in our life. We would not just let it fall on deaf ears, but we will apply it to our life, apply it to our pursuit, apply it for our building of relationships and strengthening marriage, and that starts in the church. Lord, we are thankful that you have sent someone here with the knowledge and the capability to give us information that is useful to our lives. This is our prayer. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Let's stand and sing this short chorus, and I bid you good night. I keep falling in love with him over and over and over and over again. I keep falling in love with him over and over and over and over again. He gets sweeter and sweeter as the days go by. Oh, I love between my Lord and I keep falling in love with him over and over and over and over again. Pleasant good night, everyone.